Hola,
Ni hao,
bonjour,
moi.
guten Tag, guten Tag,
Hello,
whatever way you want to say it. Welcome to the Double Trouble podcast with me, Oliver Phelps.
and me, James Phelps. Guys, thank you very much for joining us this week. And Oliver and I have just finished talking to a good friend of ours, an amazing cricketer, and someone who has come through one of the most traumatic experiences with your heart you can possibly go through, Mr. James Taylor.
Yes, that's right. It's a absolutely fantastic listen. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure you guys are going to really enjoy it too. Either learning about cricket, or more importantly, learning about his heart condition and also how he came back from that to totally reinvent his life and just make the best of any possible situation. So we really hope you enjoy it. I just want to say as well, if you're wondering why I'm dressed like an air traffic controller, it's because there's a bit of noise going on outside the house right now. So I wanted you to hear me properly.
So, have you always been based at Heathrow, or is this just a new look?
But in all seriousness, though, guys, I just want to address something with you guys. Thank you so much for all the amazing and really heartfelt messages what was sent to both James and I last week after saying that we couldn't get the show up last week because of a unfortunate death in our family. James and I lost our grandmother, which came as quite a big shock to us, and obviously, as you can appreciate, was quite a big thing. So we just really want to say a huge thank you for your love, your support, your prayers, your messages, everything, be it from just the simple tweet to there's a really nice video that someone sent me as well, to everything in between. Just want to say thank you so much for that, because it really means the absolute world.
It does. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I was very touched by everything, and I've been very quiet since it happened last week. But I'd like to again say what Oliver just said. Thank you so much for all the love, prayers, and everything in between that everybody sent us. It really has meant a lot. Yeah, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, definitely. As I say, because it's nice to know. I suppose in every walk of life, everyone needs to know that they're thought of. Not saying that we don't already from you guys. The appreciation and everything what we hear from you guys all the time makes so it makes me feel really fantastic. But just hearing you guys' thought for us really helps, because we all need to know that you can. It's nice to be told that you're doing something well, and it's nice as well to be able to have a relationship with you guys that we do, where we can be open and honest and just straight to the point, and that you guys trust in what we're saying. We don't take that lightly, and we don't take that for granted. So that is why we were very honest with you guys last week and just saying why the podcast wasn't up. So as I say, just want to say a huge thank you for all your love and support. Yes, it's been a really tricky time for us. It's not been exactly easy, but at the same time, knowing that there's love and support from thousands and thousands of people who maybe we haven't met, but feel the connection and feel compelled to come and say positive stuff to us, as I say, means the absolute world.
So I think what's the thing that was a bit interesting last week. So I hadn't been sleeping too well after everything that happened, and on Saturday morning I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I decided that the sun was going to rise a little later. So I got my road bike, and I ended up riding to a national park not about 20 kilometers from me. Rode round there, and there were lots of baby ponies. I guess a pony is a baby, but the ponies with their moms, and literally there was just me and all these amazing animals. So I was trying to take photos of them, but I couldn't actually see my screen. So long story short, I ended up riding just over 100 kilometers, and by the time I got back, my legs were killing me. I was almost crying with pain because I hadn't done that kind of riding in quite a while. Got in, but I thought it's amazing. I've seen all these amazing creatures. I saw owls, falcons, pigeons, which is still in my garden, uh,
You didn't have to
moles.
cycle 100 kilometers to see pigeons, though.
No, I know, but I actually saw a mole. I also saw some hedgehogs, which obviously are my favorite animals, uh, and quite a few other animals in between. So anyway, I got back and I thought I've got these great photos of all these great things that I've just seen. Waddled upstairs, plumped myself on the sofa. I went to show my wife photos I'd taken, and guess what? My camera was stuck on selfie mode. So every photo I have is me looking slightly confused at the camera, which is a bit disappointing. But one of the other reasons that I decided to go for a bike ride is that I'm hoping to do the Big Mountain Challenge, which is what I did last year in the Alps for the Thames Hospice charity in London, which is basically we ride up mountains to the equivalent height of Kilimanjaro or Mount Everest, which last year I did not think I was going to do it, but it ended up being one of the, if not the best thing I have ever done. So I'm trying to get some miles in my legs for that. And hey, if you want to join us this year, you're more than welcome.
No, no, I do not. But I will watch and cheer from the comfort of my house. I
You
don't know.
should
I
do.
can't. I've done. I used to do a lot of cycling. Yeah, I kind of just fell out of it really. But I'll be supporting you all the way. But I really don't think I'll be able to get that far.
It's really, it's, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's something just pushing your mind and like just thinking I just need another couple of clicks to go, as they say. But the thing that really sucked was the wind was so strong on Saturday morning. I seemed to be riding into it the whole way, which was fun until I almost got blown into a bus, which was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
so fun.
You're not really selling this whole prospect to me either.
No, do it. It's good fun.
What? Run into
Definitely.
a bus?
Well, why not?
No, 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 no,
Be a
no.
memory.
Well,
Anyway,
it'll be a last memory. Yeah.
yes, it's definitely worth it.
Anyway, back to where we are. I just want to touch on earlier that, yeah, once again, guys, thanks so much for the love and everything. I took time on reading every single message because you need to know that you can be open with people. I find anyway, and in terms of being someone who has struggled a bit over the years, this is a conversation for another day. But suddenly struggling, which nearly struggled to the very end, you know, mentally. So it's nice to be able to think that many this is a long time later, and as I say, that's a conversation for another day, but to have all you guys just being so supportive to us, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you will never know what that means. You will never quite fully understand and appreciate what that means. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. So I know this is a conversation for another day and I don't want to take away from what we're talking about today, but yeah, just so you know, it is so appreciated with everything. And that is as far as I want to talk about it today, because we've got some very exciting topics to be talking about with James Taylor. If you'd have no idea what cricket is about, it's essentially 11 people versus 11. So there's two batsmen at a time. And it's a bit like baseball in a sense that each team bats, each team fields. But that's where the similarity finishes, really, isn't it? It's basically played in a big ring, so inside the ropes. Then you've got inside that big ring, right in the center is a long rectangle. Each side of this rectangle, you still following me? Each side of this
I know what you're on
rectangle,
about, and I'm
yeah.
confused.
Well, I'm trying to describe it. Each side of this rectangle, right, which is you've got the wicket, and you've got what makes up a wicket. You may ask. Well, it's a line on the ground, and behind that is three sticks, what stick up from the ground, called stumps, and on top of those stumps, the three sticks, is two bits of wood called bales. Okay, there's going to be a quiz later. Now, if the bales, these bits of wood, gets knocked off by the ball what's bowled at you, you are out. Also, as well, if you get caught by another player before the ball hits the floor, you are out. Any more questions about cricket? Don't come to me, come to someone who's professional with it. But that is my initial take to it.
Thank God. Basically, cricket is the second biggest sport in the world. Oliver and I really enjoy it. And I remember 4 years ago, there was a message came out saying that a young English international cricketer, James Taylor, had to retire. The reason being, James has a hereditary condition, which the abbreviation of it is ARVC, which is a disease of the heart muscles that basically causes it to thicken, and it's accelerated by exercise. So him being a sportsman every day and an incredibly fit sportsman as well, this was increasing this condition. So he ended up in hospital. He's going to go into talking about it. He ended up in hospital after having a
An
beats per
episode,
minute,
shall we say?
an episode. Yeah, but his beats per minute were almost 5 times what they should be. And it went on for a lot longer. And basically, 64,000 people in the UK have this condition, but only 4 out of 5 of people survive it. So it is really incredible to hear his story, to go through it, and how literally in the prime of his career, he had to stop. But that hasn't stopped him from progressing into such amazing stuff. Now, he went into coaching and was fantastic at that, as well as commentating on cricket, the game he loves. And now he's one of the England selectors. So he is actually on the board, as it were, of people who select the teams who play for England. Subsequently, the England World Cup winning team of 2019.
Exactly.
And
So,
also, he's one of these also another annoying guys. He's good looking. He's great at sport. Really nice guy. And he only picked up a golf club about 3 years ago, and now he's off 3 handicap. There you go. We had such a great chat with him. So we hope you guys will enjoy it too.
exactly. So, guys, sit back.
Hang on.
Is that?
Hang on. There's something, a couple of things.
Ooh,
One, I thought I'd say hello to basically my friend, a guy I used to work with I did a show in London with him a couple of years ago, Tom. He runs a thing called Actor Awareness. So people ask me different questions about acting and all that kind of stuff. If you search Actor Awareness, they do podcasts and Q&As with casting directors and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that can give you some knowledge on that. I thought I'd mention that. And also, can I give you a did you know?
I've got a did you know? I've got a did you know will blow your mind.
Oh, okay. Let's have a did you know
Let me
off.
show you this. Okay, oh, hang on. Notifications this week.
That's not the real one, though, is it?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
We'll edit that out. But James is really annoyed because I saw on my Twitter feed that John Cena follows me now on Twitter. It doesn't matter that he's following another 152,000 other people. But there he is. He's there. Boom.
Don't believe that. That's not him. You're lying.
Okay, hang on. Look, let me get my feed up. Right, got a screen. Verified. John Cena. Let's click on John.
I can't see him.
Oh.
How many people else is he following?
I mean, he's following 159,000 other people.
So he's following the equivalent of half the population of Iceland.
Well, true, but I can't see him, but he can see me. So there you go.
Right.
Anyway, that's
your fact.
isn't it? That's my facts of the day. Yeah.
That's a crap fact. Okay.
I think it's a very good fact.
My did you know? Oh, by the way, people sent some amazing little music to go with the did you know.
Oh, have you got it?
I'll get it.
I tell you what. You do the edit. I tell you what, James. You do the edit this week, and you add this in.
Right. Okay. So the amazing stuff. And did you know?
Do you have to say it in that type of voice?
That's my way of introducing.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
So
is that what the jingle's going to be?
No, but I could enter it around that. Anyway, the other day, someone sent me a cameo request and actually asked me to give you a space did you know? So, as they all know, people know I'm a big space fan. Unfortunately, the clouds have been around this week, but that doesn't stop these facts. So, okay, so for the did you know? Like I said, I sent a load of jingles. So this week, I thought I'd try Lisa's jingle, which is very good. So hang on, can you hear?
Did Lisa play this herself?
I believe so. Right, listening. Did you know?
Very good. I like that one. I've got to be honest, it's a bit better than Tom's jingle last week.
His name is Ollie. His name is James.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Was that Lisa for doing that?
That was Lisa. There was a couple of others which were very kind. So hopefully we'll get through to sending those. But if you have them, please send me the link on Twitter. James
I'll tell you what.
Phelps is mine because someone already had the James Phelps. But yeah, send me that. That'd be great. And hopefully we can use that another time. Yep, that's good. And also if there's like a cool for the front of the show as well, the intro,
cool what?
That'd be great.
It sounds like a dog.
What dogs do you have?
It sounds like a dog having a cough.
Did you know on Jupiter, a day on Jupiter is just shy of 10 Earth hours?
Right.
Yeah. But a year on Jupiter, as in to go around the sun, is 11.8 Earth years.
You are, hang on. So a day on Jupiter. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. Right. So a day for them isn't. So a year isn't 365 days.
No, it's 11.8 years. So that's why if you're ever looking at Jupiter through a telescope, you can literally see it spinning. if you keep looking at it.
Wow. Is it true that it's got a little ring around it as well? Not a big one,
Yeah.
just like one or two,
Maybe.
and a big dot in the corner.
It has a big dot. That's called the big red dot, which is
Well,
actually
they were very imaginative when they came with that idea, didn't they? They could have called it
well,
something like a beauty mole or something.
that's actually a storm which has been going on for over 350 years.
Because you wouldn't go on holiday there, would you? And today's forecast, stormy. Be awful. No wonder those aliens don't want to go there. End up going
How
to
do you know?
Nevada.
Yes, there is a ring around Jupiter. It's actually made of dust particles.
Yes, I knew so. I knew that. Which is formed, no doubt, by the gravitational rotation of it. Am I right?
Well, probably. Otherwise, it would be like a square, wouldn't it?
Exactly. See, we're all learning for this podcast. Do you want to hear something really, really exciting?
Go on.
Well, I think it's exciting. You know that last week we went on this talk about people wearing wedding dresses.
We went on this talk.
Collective we, went on this wedding dress talk about people not wearing clothes because it's been in the wardrobe for so long, but then due to quarantine, people digging it out and wearing it. Well, there've been some lovely people who've been in touch and have sent me photos of them in their wedding dress. So I want to say a big shout out to Lorraine for her lovely wedding dress, Kate as well for her one. Who else sent one across? Apollinina, she sent one as well. No sent one over. Jessica sent one over. Livy sent one over. Jenna sent one over. Just some absolutely fantastic pictures of it. And Annie as well as I just want to forget Annie as well. But just say a huge, huge thank you, guys, to sending us those pictures over on the Twitter that I was able to see that through. There was one or two what came on the Instagram tagged photos, but unfortunately they went very quickly because getting tagged and lots of other stuff. But it was really appreciated and really lovely to see you guys getting good wear out of it. And to those asking, yes, I do still wear. I have worn my wedding jacket since.
They're going to say dress.
My dress as well. Yes, no, I wore my wedding jacket. Here you go. Do you want to see it, James?
I've seen it.
There's me
So
wearing
cool.
it. There's me
I
wearing
saw it
it
on the day. Remember?
on a lovely train. Yes, but you see how I got it out. I don't have the top hat there at the time, or the flower in
You always
the,
have that
the
bottle
top
of.
corner.
Do you also have that? What the hell are you doing in that photo?
Well, I went on an old-fashioned steam train, and they say dress for the occasion. So I thought, right, I'll dress for the occasion. Went on there, and it was, as you do, they give you, a nice little bit of bubbler, as Chris Jericho says. And yeah, so I stood there and had this little glass while trying to look longingly into the distance, appreciating my position on the train carriage, not getting covered
You
in
look
soot.
like you were. You look like you were waiting for Butch Cassidy to rob the train.
No, I wouldn't go
it?
that far. If anything, I'm looking like I am. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'd say that is just someone who's very happy that the train has stopped moving, really. But no, that is, for those asking, do I still wear it? That was probably, to be fair, the last time I did wear the whole ensemble. But yes, I have done since.
Okay. I've worn my wedding suit since the whole thing, but I'm quite lucky. So Dave the tailor,
Shout out to Dave the tailor, who's also making some wicked face masks at the moment as well, with a percentage of it going towards NHS charities.
Yep, at MB and T tailors. So Dave he's made me quite a few amazing suits in the years, but he made my tweed one, which I had recently, and my wedding one, both of which have on the back in the lining is actually a picture of myself and my dog, which is quite an amazing thing to have. Anyway.
Marvelous. Oh, okay. Well, did you know, James? Here comes James Taylor. So, James, thank you so much for joining us today. First of all, I need to explain why I look like I'm working in air traffic control. It's because the nice people outside have decided to do some roadworks. So for sound, for those of you watching on YouTube, this is why I'm looking like either that or I'm playing Fortnite, one of the two.
I think it's a strong look, mate. Good look for you. I think keep next podcast. I expect to see them on.
Yeah, it's definitely hiding the hairdo. I'm telling you that. It's grown out of control.
But yeah, James, thank you very much for joining us today. I've been really looking forward to this, actually. So I finished your book as well the other day, which I really thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh, I'm glad. It's something different. It's not your standard cricket book. I didn't want it to be one of them that's just about cricket. I wanted it to appeal to other audiences as well. So I'm glad you read that, and I hope you got something from it.
I did. It was
It was good
really.
fun.
What I really enjoyed about it was, like you say, I mean, I'm a big cricket fan anyway, but you didn't have. It's not all talking about two slips in a gully and terminologies which people who never seen cricket before wouldn't know what they're on about. But yeah, I really enjoyed, obviously not just your whole journey, which obviously we're going to go on to, but also how much work goes on. Obviously, you're a very gifted sportsman anyway, but then the amount of work that you then put into that as well to improve. It's not. I guess I have somewhat of a view of, if you're good at sport, you're naturally good, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it was really great to see just how much work you put in on and off the field to improve your game.
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky. I was one of those sportsmen that you have to have a certain amount of natural talent, which I like to think I did, but I loved working hard and I loved learning. So that obviously helped me. My thing is, if you don't enjoy what you do, you won't get better because you won't work hard at it. And I was very lucky. I loved it. I love training. I love learning and working hard, which obviously is going to help you with the end product you'd like to think.
Yeah, sure. So how many, in terms of like the actual practicing process, because as you said, like you took, like in your books where you like you spoken about, like obviously I think one thing we can semi-relate to in a way is the boarding school process. Like we did it fictionally, but you did it actually for real. Do you think in doing that in that environment helped in terms of your development as a sportsman, because you could dedicate time after time do it, or even just like throwing the ball against the wall by yourself, improving catching and
Yeah,
stuff like that?
without doubt. Yeah, without doubt. I was very fortunate. I'm very lucky from the background being able to go to boarding school and spend 3 weeks at a time away from my parents at the age of 8, at the age of 7, which sounds quite scary, and it was. I was homesick to start with, and it was quite daunting and scary, but it allowed me to just play all the time. I mean, I did 6 days a week, 7 sometimes, of sport, which not many people, not many kids in this day and age certainly are fortunate enough to be able to do that. So I was very lucky, one, to have the facilities and have the people around me to kind of guide me and push me in the right direction, and the facilities to be able to practice and play and learn. So I was very fortunate. Yes, you have to have a certain amount of skill and natural talent, but also I had the things in place to allow me to flourish. Which I was very lucky, and it was brilliant. Boarding school was the best time of my life. Both I was at Maydell Hall in Northamptonshire, and then I went to Shrewsbury, which is in Shropshire, not far from Wales. 2 amazing schools, great people, great teachers, great facilities, and brilliant fun. Yeah.
So did you, when you've obviously playing sport as a young age, then obviously having an interest in cricket, rugby, football and stuff like that, was it always a way of just knowing, right, I want to go into sport, I'm good at it? Or was it just a case of you just enjoyed it to begin with, and then, as you say, you enjoy it, you practice more, then that becomes more of a thing? Whereas, not saying that academia is not important or anything like that to you, but sport takes a more prevalent thing, because I suppose at that age especially, you see instant results, you see instant, I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, I was very fortunate, like I said, to go to the schools that I went to, which allowed me to play all these sports. I think I was best at football and rugby to start with. I loved all ball sports, but that's what I knew. I loved running around, being athletic, showing off with a ball in your hand or at your feet, and I loved that. It was just a natural progression into cricket. But from a young age, like I said, I was best at football and rugby. Basically, a lot of cricketers are failed footballers, and I was one of them.
Did you have trials with Leicester?
Yeah, so I was in their junior setup at Leicester City, and because I was at boarding school, they want you to train 4 or 5 times a week, and it just wasn't feasible. That's my excuse anyway. That's why I didn't go down that path. But yeah, so I loved my football. I loved my rugby as well. And I actually went to Shrewsbury School to play football because I felt they were the best school or public school at football. So I went down that route to play football. And then my cricket was always there. I was always playing at a similar level, but that just took off with the facilities, with the coaches that I had at that school and the academies that I was in. So yeah, but that's what I know. Sport was what I was what I knew and loved, and that's what came easy to me. The academic side, not so much. I had to do that because of the schools that I was at, and if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be able to play sport because they wouldn't let you. They go hand in hand. But yeah, that sport was what I knew and what I loved, and it was just a natural progression from being good at school, going into academies, going into the international setups at the junior age, and then professionally.
It probably got a very simple answer, but the difference between, you can't compare obviously club cricket to international cricket, but every level is obviously more difficult, or more difficult, I guess, is the or skills that you're facing are higher. What, like, is it a vast difference between, say, county cricket or club cricket compared to international, or is it just that little bit more accurate with where you hit the ball or how you catch?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything. I think the skills are definitely better. The consistency of what they deliver is definitely better as well, and the intensity is far greater. But when you step up from club cricket to domestic cricket, professional cricket, the step up in skills, the consistency, the accuracy, the pace is all ramped up, and also the pressure is your job. And then when you go up again, that's doubled again. The skill level, the intensity, the quality, but also the thing that people forget about is all the attention around it. It's not just what goes on the field, but it's the media scrutiny and attention, the pressure that you're on every single day. You've got millions of people watching you. At the MCG, you've got 100,000 people there live watching you, but also on TV, you've got millions of people watching you. So if you think about that, there's a lot that goes into it other than what you see. But I was one of them because I loved the game. I obviously played international cricket, and the year that I made my debut against South Africa, who turned out to be #1 side in the world, a few days after I played Test cricket, I went back and played club cricket. That doesn't happen, but I loved playing cricket and I loved playing with my mates. And I also never knew when I could learn something. So I was all about getting experiences under my belt, as many as I could, because I loved learning. So that's why I went back and played club cricket, even though I was playing international cricket, which is kind of unheard of. But I loved it. And that's why I did a bit of both at the same time.
Yeah, that actually was a question I was going to ask. With all the obviously senior players that when you were coming up, because you were quite young to be going straight into playing opening well, not opening batsman, but you know what I mean, like in the first 11. Were you one of those people that watched the senior players from afar to learn, or were you more asking questions all the time, or a bit of both?
I think I was actually, especially when you're a youngster in the side, I kind of kept my head down and I just watched from afar and tried to pick up as much as I could. And I had some great people. I mean, ultimately, in my first couple of years in professional cricket, I was still a schoolboy, a little one of that, playing first-class cricket. So I had to learn really quickly. And I believe the best player, not saying I was the best player in the world, but or one of the best players are the quickest learners. And like I would say, one of the quickest learners I've ever played with and been around, and I played a lot with, is Joe Root. Amazing learner. And the quicker you learn, the faster you'll get places. And Joe's exactly like that. And I tried to be like that. So I moved straight from, I was still at school when I was playing professional cricket. So I was sort of schoolboy trying to find my way in the first class game. And you have to learn really quickly on your feet, and you have to have good people around you. I was very lucky when I played at Leicestershire that I had some great senior pros around me. I had a lot of ex-South African players, some England players like Paul Nixon around me that were very encouraging, very energetic, and always wanting to help. So I was very fortunate.
Yeah, I was going to get onto that as well, like the whole playing with the counties, because one thing that I can't believe as a Bears fan is not taking the chance when asked more than once to play for Warwickshire. But joking aside, though, was that more in terms of the progression? Because obviously you're from the East Midlands. It's obviously like Nottinghamshire is a major test ground anyway, doing well in the major counties, shall we say? Is that more of the reason why as well, and also the family connection to the area?
It's a funny one because I'd actually looked at so Warwickshire, just a quick background, Warwickshire had asked me, first of all, when I was 16 to go. That was a brief little, do you want to come and play for us? Well, I scored runs against them in the second team when I was at Worcestershire. And then I got asked a couple of times, and then this final time, it was a big move. Like, I was always going to move. I wanted to challenge myself in a different environment for a bigger club, a test match ground. So it kind of came down to Warwickshire or Nottinghamshire. And I'd actually I was that firm and set on going to Warwickshire. I'd actually looked at houses in Birmingham. And it was very close, but it's bizarre to say this. I don't usually listen to my parents, but my parents were very keen on going to Trent Bridge and Nottingham. And obviously this is the side of the country that I was kind of from. I was born in Nottingham. Trent Bridge is a fantastic ground, from the pitch itself to the stadium to the guys that work on the gate that introduce you into the ground. Everybody was amazing. Chief exec, coach, senior players, international players throughout the side. So that was what drew me to Nottinghamshire, and also listening to my parents for the first time in my life. So yeah, it was funny. I was always going to Warwickshire, but then my parents were kind of keen on me to go to Nottinghamshire, and I had great memories as well, playing at Nottinghamshire before that, playing at the ground and stuff. So that was the way it came around. So unfortunately, I didn't come and join you boys at the Bears, but it's so funny. James, I saw Ollie sent me a picture of his swing. So
did you notice it? I put it on for your benefit.
We love golf, and Ollie is a golf tragic like me, and he sent me a picture of a video of his swing, and I noticed you were wearing that Warwickshire top. I was wondering whether that was a replica shirt that you bought or that was from somebody.
No, I think looking in hindsight, it was actually, we were doing some coaching at the
James. If it's Oliver, it was a freebie.
It's a freebie, definitely. I remember we were doing some coaching in the nets with Jim Troughton, and he said, "Yeah, I have some kit." I won't say the player whose kit it probably was, because I don't really know the chap. But in all seriousness, apparently he's quite a moody bloke. So it's probably why he works.
But I'm not going to.
No, exactly. I'm sure you could probably have a good idea who I'm on about, but I'm sure at the time he probably thought, "Where's my 4-day top gone?" You know. But no, but I love, as we spoke about as well. Like, we love our cricket and going to watch it as well, especially being fortunate, like yourself as well, to have travelled quite a lot and seeing sport in a different environment. So one of my favourite times is when I was in Australia and actually going to follow the Ashes series. So in a brief nutshell, for those of you who are wondering what is the Ashes, it's a cricket match between England and Australia, which goes over 5 tests. Each test can last up to 5 days, for example. And it tours around, so it's not just in one place the whole time, which is really cool. So it's a great way of traveling and seeing the country as well. But in terms of like touring or anything like that, where would you say was the favorite place that you went on tour, not just with the full international team, but with either county team in training or going in the Lions setup, which is like the developmental side, I suppose? How would you best describe your favorite places for that, like India or the far subcontinent?
Oh, that's a very tough question, but good question. I mean, we're very lucky. I mean, this is, since I finished, I was away for 6 months of the winter, every winter for 10 years. So it's a long time abroad. It's a lot of traveling, which I loved. And I was set up perfectly for it. I was used to being away from home because of boarding school. So it didn't faze me. It's tough for some people, obviously, especially if they've got a family as well. That gets really tough when you're away for 6 months. And you might come back for a couple of weeks in between. But for most of winter, you're away, you're chasing the sun, which is great. But my favourite places, I reckon, Australia is right up there. One of my favourite places in the world, the best place in the world for me, Western Australia as well, Perth. I love the beaches, I love the sun, sea and sand. Like, the lifestyle out there is phenomenal. It's expensive, but it's great. So that's one of my favourite places to tour. It's a really tough place to tour. They play tough, hard cricket. There's a lot of stick flying around, especially if you're a little lad making your way in the team, which is great fun, especially when you score some runs against them and they swiftly just get a little bit quieter. But I love Abu Dhabi and Dubai as well. I love Dubai. I spent 2.5 months touring there it was 47 degrees. Imagine playing in 47 degrees. The first week we were there, 47 degrees, no word of a lie. We were training, the bowlers were that hot and sweaty, they just bowled in boots and cycling shorts, no clothes on, because it was too heavy because of the sweat. Their boots were squelching. That was phenomenal. That first week, we were playing against Pakistan, and even those guys, they're used to the heat, but they were struggling. And the bowlers could only bowl 6 balls on the bounce, which is 1 over, and then they had to stop. That was really tough work. But so Australia and Dubai, but we're very lucky. I mean, there's nowhere apart from Pakistan I haven't been, and Zimbabwe. Everywhere else I've been. South Africa is an amazing place. But yeah, very lucky to tour so many great places.
Going back to the people chirping in the field, shall we say, so sledding. What would is there a certain difference between different countries? Like, are one country more personal and others are quite witty, or something like that? And also, why can't there be an option on the TV so like you press the red button and you can listen to it?
I think because there'll be too many expletives, like there'll be all sorts flying around, and the players certainly wouldn't want that. A number of players have already been in trouble because the producers and the people that run the cameras and the TV can be really sneaky. We've seen it in South Africa a lot recently, where they turn up the stunt mics so you can hear everything, and it's great fun, like when you're listening. But you know something bad's going to come out if they get into a heated exchange. The emotions are flying everywhere. So you occasionally might step over the line and say something that you shouldn't. And if that gets picked up on camera, you can get banned, you can get fined, and it's, not nice. But it's great to listen to. So they might do that occasionally, but not often. But it is good fun. But going back to your question, so Australia is really feisty, especially the rivalry England-Australia. It does get very feisty. Which is good fun. It's international sport. If you can't handle a little bit of abuse, somebody telling you how rubbish you are in more aggressive terms, then you probably shouldn't be there in the first place, or you probably wouldn't have made it there in the first place if you can't handle that kind of thing. But yeah, New Zealand is a lovely place to tour as well. What an amazing country. But they're very different to Australia. New Zealand and Australia are very different, like personalities as such. They're lovely, bit more humble and a bit more quiet and respectful, whereas Australia, they're a little bit more brash, and especially with England-Australia rivalry, they'll let you have it, which is great fun at the same time. Very professional, very aggressive and competitive, like we all are. But New Zealand, just lovely, lovely people. A great place to play and great people to play against. So that's the two contrasts, right next door to each other, but very different sides to play against.
Yep. I think one test ground I'd love to go to is it Dunedin, where it literally looks like a county, like a village green, essentially.
And that's really small, but that's the beauty about being a batsman. When you go to New Zealand, you play on these small grounds. But it's what an amazing place to. One, so picturesque, amazing people, and little grounds. As a batsman, especially when you're small, it makes you feel a bit bigger when you've got these little grounds that you're bashing out of the park. It's a great place to play. So those two grounds are very small, but very entertaining to watch cricket played at those two grounds.
In terms of like when you get into the full setup, as it were, in the full England team, so obviously practicing and working for so long in the Lions setup, which you could say you shouldn't have been there as long and just gone into it, So as opposed to being called it to the full Test team, I mean, does that send you in good stead, obviously, when you go into fielding? Because as a new boy in the team, not many people want to go stand at short leg or silly mid wicket or anything like that. And in doing so, because obviously in your books where you talk about how all the practicing you put into that in terms of catching and everything like that. So for those of you who are listening and wondering what a cricket ball is like, it's pretty much like a rock coming at you. Like I've got one in my hand right now. So this ball's like 20 overs old or something like that. So I've actually got it because I hit a 4 with it at Lords and they gave me the ball one day at the end of it. So that's one of my prized possessions, as you say. I only scored 4. I was number 6 batsman, and that was my only contribution for the game. But still, But anyway, but yes, you're getting this coming at you, which is like a rock coming at you. If you imagine in America a baseball, this is, I'd say, harder than a baseball, and you've got all this stitching as well, which, if traveling enough, would pierce the skin. I would have thought.
Oh,
What
and
is?
do serious damage if that hit you. Well, you can see it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah. So if that, so on the, I just want to talk about, like, especially one catch where I remember watching at the time, thinking, how has he done that? Was when you were against South Africa, against Hashim Amla, and from him hitting the ball, in your book you mentioned it, from him hitting the ball to you catching it is zero point 0.4 seconds,
good
and
knowledge.
you can tell I've wrote down a note on this, and he in terms of actually catching that one, I don't think I could catch a ping pong ball at that speed, but let alone that. Is it just going down to reps of just doing something over and over again that your body, your hands, your arms, wherever, just become used to obtaining that type of pressure, that type of hit? Because I take it, for it to travel that far, and how far would you say you've been setting from it? Probably like 10 meters or so?
Yeah, less than, I'd say 6 sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
But I hope you edit this in so people can see the catch.
I-
That was one of the best moments of my life, honestly. The moment in the game, it was big. We needed to win this game, and we needed to turn it around and get the momentum back in the series and in that game. But it's very rare that you practice something so hard and diligently, and it comes off within like 24 hours. And I did. I've been working so hard at catching. Obviously, all my life, all my career, I've been throwing balls around the corridors at school, practicing my catching, getting balls confiscated all the time, and loving that. But especially at short leg, the reactions, the technique that you need to learn, the bravery ultimately to be in that position. It does take time to come up with the technique, the skills, the reflexes to get yourself in that position. And it was all the hard work that built up to that moment, but also the hard work I'd done over the 24 hours thinking, I want to take a special catch, because I'd just been caught in that position myself the day before. And it was a really good catch by Temba Bavuma. He's actually a little bit shorter than me as well, which is nice to have somebody on the field shorter than me. But I was like, damn, that was an exceptional catch, but I want to beat you, mate. And I worked really hard at it, and it came off within 24 hours. So you're so close. It's such a reaction position. You have to get lots of clues from the batsman to get ahead of the game almost. So you look, as the ball's coming down, I'm constantly looking at the batsman and which way he's maneuvering his body to which way the ball might go, so I can get a head start. Because the ball, it comes at 0.4 of a second. You've got to have quick reactions, and your anticipation is so important. And so that allowed me to get into the position and take the catch. And then I just ran off like a headless chicken, which that moment was so special. And it was actually, weirdly, it was one of the last things I did on the cricket field. So to have those moments was so special.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, to do it before everything that happened, I suppose that's one of the things what is etched in people's memory when they think of you as a cricketer, as it were. Be it be it scoring however many runs you scored, and having great innings and stuff like that. But to be remembered as a fielder, I think, is almost something what more people or less people are known of as making great catches, because I suppose, yeah, you're either known as scoring the winning runs or taking the winning wickets. But as opposed to, if you don't have people who are catching the ball, especially out of nothing, like in that position, it's going to be a pretty boring game, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think I'll be remembered as a batsman, but you're totally right. It's funny, like people remember that so vividly because it was obviously it was a decent catch, but that was one of the last like vivid memories of me in international cricket, and a lot of people watch international cricket, so that was one of their last memories. And after I got back from the tour, a few weeks later, I retired. So yeah, the last memory, but I was so fortunate that I had those great memories. And not many people end their career. Yes, I got forced to retire through my illness, but not many people end on the top. We won the series. We weren't expected to win the series. I think they were number one side in the world. And we were a young, inexperienced side coming through. And we should never have won that series, but we did. And it was so special to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think. Do you think as well, because like going back to reactions and stuff, do you think you got that because of all the time you spent practicing in your batting? Because obviously, when you've got, say, a Mitchell Johnson, for example, in a National Series, steaming in and pitching it at you at over 100k or whatever, nearly 100 miles an hour, the thing's bouncing, it's swinging as well. Your reaction time is so fractional in that period. But not, I mean, not just with that speed. I mean, you get a ball coming at 80 mile an hour, that's still quite pacey. You're going to your reaction speed on anything is going to be aimed at way more than, say, James, for example.
Yeah, I'd like to 90 mile, 100 mile an hour ball. I'm sure we can organise that.
Well, we did. I remember we did it once in the nets. They had the Merlin machine, you know, where you just feed it in, and I think we cranked it up to maybe 90 mile an hour or something, and that was just stupid idea for people who don't really face that many balls.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you train yourself for it. You can't just rock in having never faced it before and face 90 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Well, we gave it a go.
Yeah.
But it's just hours and hours of training. I mean, I think so. Mitchell Johnson, I can remember I faced Mitchell Johnson bowling 95 miles an hour at the MCG, the first game of the World Cup, England Australia, 2015. 100,000 people in the stadium. And I walked in when we were under pressure, and I was thinking, this is one of the moments I'm most proud of. I was thinking, damn, I'm pretty nervous here. I don't usually get too nervous. Nerves are good, but not too many nerves. But I was really nervous on this occasion. First game of the World Cup, England, Australia, 100,000 people, MCG. It doesn't get much bigger. Mitchell Johnson steaming in, one of the best bowlers in the world, bowling 95 mile an hour. And I was going, oh, I'm a little bit nervous here. But then I thought, no, I'll be all right. I've done so much practice that my body will just react. My technique, I've grooved my technique so much. It wasn't the prettiest, but it was efficient, and it knew what it needed to do when it needed to do it. And that's what I thought. I'll be like, nah, I'm all right. And I got through it. I got 98 not out actually that game, which was
debatable as well, if I remember.
So debatable. I mean, the umpire. Sorry to bore those that don't.
It's shocking. It was shocking.
If you want to, you can Google it and YouTube it. But the umpires made the wrong decision, and it's very rare that they don't know the rules, and I do. I'm not a stickler for the rules, but I knew the rules and they didn't, and I was telling them. But anyway, that's a long story. I didn't get 100. I was 98 not out. I was stranded. But yeah, that's an example of somebody who's bowling quick and putting all the hard work and practice into place to bail you out when you need it.
But in that in that time though, whilst playing for England, both at the one-day series and the Test series, you still knocked up quite a few runs, didn't you? So it wasn't like you can look back with regret on you didn't do anything. So that was good.
Exactly. No, I was really, really proud of it, and I scored 100 against Australia. And if there's a side that you're going to score 100 against, it's probably the side that you wanted. So I got 98 not out, and then I followed it up the next summer with 100 against them to win the game as well. So if you're going to score runs against the side, it's probably Australia as well, which I was
definitely
proud of.
And then I guess we should go forward to April 2016.
Yes. So for those that don't know me, I'm sure there's a lot listening that obviously don't. But so I was obviously a cricketer. I played cricket for England, and then the longest time I had off in 10 years of being a professional sportsman, I think 9 or 10 years, I think was 3 weeks. And that was the 3 weeks after I got back from that tour, which Ollie was talking about, me taking those catches. I had 3 weeks off because I needed them, and I needed to refresh for the season coming up. I had 3 weeks off, longest stint in my career that I had off. First game of the season, just preparing for the first game of the season, warming up. And then it hit me. Something hit me. Nothing physically hit me, but some in my chest. My heart sped up to 265 beats per hour and was like that for 7 hours.
Per minute, you mean? Per minute?
Sorry. 260 beats.
And your normal one would have been about 50. Is that right?
Yeah. Even now, I can sleep at. This is the thing. When I got rushed to hospital and I was in bed sleeping, I was sleeping at 32 beats per minute because I was so incredibly fit. We've missed out a big chunk of the story there, by the way.
Yeah.
But
We'll go back.
So I sleep in hospital. The machines were going mental because they're not used to a professional sportsman having a heart problem being connected to the machines. They're used to a bit older people being in their ward, and the machines are calibrated to, if it goes below 60, your heartbeat, they start making noises. I was sleeping at 32, or trying to sleep before the machines kicked off. So I can rest at I can sleep at about 32, but resting heart rate is usually about 45. And so it's 265 beats per minute. My heart was going mentally in my chest. Cut a long story short, the physios at the games thought it was a virus. Fair enough. Thought it was a virus. Got told to go home, went home. Heart was still going mentally in my chest, and I could feel it. I could see it in my it's out my shirt. I thought I was going to die at 10:30 a.m.
I think that, James, you're playing that down when you said you were told to go home. You were literally hours away from home at the time.
Yeah, I was in Cambridge, and to not anybody that knows that journey to Nottingham, it's 2.5 hours. And that, like, the thing is, I thought I was going to die at 10:30. I was put on oxygen at 10:30. I went to the loo to try and be sick. Couldn't be sick, couldn't breathe. That's the first time in my life I thought I was going to pass out, and I actually wanted to, because I was in that much pain, and it was just so weird that it would just be easier if I just passed out and it would be better. So that was at 10:30. I got taken home to see a doctor. The doctor couldn't see me till 6, so basically I was waiting to see the doctor at 6. I should have died on that journey home, but luckily I didn't. I think it was because I was so fit. My heart could withstand all this trauma that I was going through. Got home. It's typical. I didn't have my keys to my house because I was so ill. I left everything at the ground. So my car, all my clothes, my car keys, so my house keys. So I got left. I said to my mate that dropped me off, I said, just leave me. I went to Trent Bridge and I rang my mum, said, can you come and pick me up and take me home? Because she had a set of keys. So she found me. I was curled up in a ball at the bottom of the stairs at Trent Bridge. Again, I should have died there. How she found me, I don't know, because she doesn't really know how to get there. So she found me, luckily, took me home, progressively got worse. By now I was being sick everywhere because my body was packing up. It was just looking after my vital organs. Rang the doctor, said, look, I'm really struggling. I had shoulder pains, sign of a heart attack. He said, don't wait for me, go straight to hospital. Don't wait for an ambulance, get your mum to take you straight to hospital. Went to hospital. By this time I was like grey. Again, got into hospital, was sick everywhere. Rushed me straight through to, if you've seen Casualty or any drama films where it all happens and it all kicks off. Hooked me up to the machines, and I will never forget their face. They were astonished. They couldn't believe what my heart was doing. It was going at 265 beats per minute. So imagine the noise of the machines. It was chaos in there, and just seeing the doctors running around. And it was bizarre because my body was failing me, but my mind was so switched on here. And I can remember everything. And I've got a memory like a sieve, which is bizarre. But I can still remember everything. And that was when the doctor said, you've had an episode. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he thought I'd had a heart attack at the time. As it was, it wasn't officially a heart attack. I was just in VT for 6 hours, which was the equivalent of doing, in 5 hours, which was the equivalent of doing 6 marathons on the bounce in 5 hours.
So in terms of actually finding a condition like that, like talking about the symptoms you've had, I would imagine that Joe Bloggs down the street, who maybe goes to the gym once a week, or if that, goes for a walk or whatever around the block, they probably wouldn't find that condition until they're doing a post-mortem, would they?
Exactly, that's spot on. I mean, when I was in hospital for 3 weeks as a result of it. I couldn't walk for the first week because my body had gone through so much. And then it took them a week to find out exactly what it is. It actually took them a lot longer. But they told me basically my career was over. I couldn't exercise. I couldn't drink. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And so I was obviously so emotional. I was like in hysterics. My world, my life was over. That I knew all I'd done was prepared to be the best I could. and be international sportsman. That's all I knew. And then that's all taken up, the carpet just pulled from underneath your feet. But then the thing that brought me around was when the doctor goes, well, if it's any consolation, you should have died, and 80% of the time this condition is found in the post-mortem. So you're right. So 80% of people that go through what I went through, the symptoms are extraordinary, because I shouldn't have gone through what I went through. I should have just died straight away. But I was very lucky. The stars aligned, and a lot of people aren't as lucky. 80% of people aren't as lucky as I am. For some reason or another, whether it was so fit or all the stars aligned, it allowed me to battle through. And luckily, I got through. And like you say, I was 20% of people survive what I survived. So that's a small percent. So that's what got me through. After being told my world was over, that I knew, he said, well, you're very lucky to be alive. And then from then on, it's all a plus, isn't it? Life is a great option to have. And I did have that, and I was very fortunate.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of like the ARVC, do you want to explain what that stands for? And also as well on the other side to it is, what is the is that something, I know it's like an inheritary condition, but is it something that is developing progressively as you age, or is it literally like a ticking bomb, as it were, just waiting to go off? Or is it, as I say, or is it developing the more or less exercise you do and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you've covered it. You see, he's clever. He's done his research, hasn't he?
See, when you're wearing a headset like this, you need to know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
It's got people telling you, and that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's all the information coming into his head from the producers at the back. Yeah, so ARVC stands for arrhythmia right ventricular cardiomyopathy. And it's an inherited heart condition, which obviously nobody knew about. It tends to be basically the father dies and the children survive. That's generally, unfortunately, like the world we live in is a tough place, and that's what happens a lot of the time with this condition. The reason why that is because the father's heart condition, or let's say the mum's heart condition, isn't detected, but then as a result of that, they have the post-mortem, they see what happens, so then the whole of the family get tested, and then they're aware of it so they can manage it. As a result, I very fortunately survived, and then my whole family went through the screening process, the genetic test, and it came from my mum. And it's a condition that is accelerated with exercise. So as a professional sportsman, it's not ideal.
No.
And it just gradually gets worse. And in my book, I go into a lot of detail, and I don't want to go into that detail now, but it was first flagged up when I was 19 years old that I had potentially had some issues with my heart. And that just got bypassed. And it flagged up a few times. And no, we didn't know about it. They all said, it was fine. Basically, cut a long story short, it's more detail in my book. At 19 years old, I should have been told I should never, ever play sport again. Okay. And I'm lucky. In my eyes, I always think positively. I was very lucky to have the career I had, because I should never have had that career, because I should have been told to stop exercising at age 19, knowing that I have that condition, knowing that my condition is accelerated with exercise. And I was the fittest person in the England team, pound for pound, the fittest and the strongest in the England team. So think of all that exercise that I put myself through from the age of 19 to 26 when I finished. That's accelerated my heart condition, and luckily I managed to survive when I probably shouldn't have.
Did that also, in another flip of the coin though, did that also save your life in regards to you were so fit that you could cope when it happened? Yeah,
I reckon so. That's the way I'm putting it. I was, like I said, the stars aligned, everything worked, but the structure of my heart was so strong and so good. It allowed me to go through, and my heart to go through what it shouldn't have been able to go through. It should never have been able to withstand what it went through. But I think because I built it up and it is so strong structurally that I could withstand it. So yeah, so when your heart's under stress, it releases an enzyme called troponin, and your usual levels are 0, and mine when I was in hospital, when I walked into hospital, were 42,000. Just to understand how much stress my heart was under. Like doing 6 marathons in 5 hours. That's good effort.
Yeah, you can't really have a misread on those figures, can you?
So then you left, like say, you left hospital after what, 3 weeks? Did you say?
Yeah, so I was in hospital for 3 weeks. Whilst I did all the tests, I couldn't walk for the first week. And most people say, oh, you don't want to be in hospital. It's the worst place to be. I think that's fair. It is. But there was nowhere else in the world that I wanted to be. I was that ill. I needed to be in hospital, and I wanted to be in hospital. And I was so grateful for what the NHS did. They saved my life. They were so good. They were so caring and lovely, and put my life back together. And so positive as well. It's not an easy thing to go through, but they were brilliant. So 3 weeks, they wouldn't let me out. Basically, they wanted me to have the operation to put a defibrillator inside me, which if something goes wrong, it restarts my heart. And I was like,
how big is the defib, James?
It's about, so this is my mobile phone. It's probably that big. It's
right. Okay.
It's like, it's half the size of a mobile phone and a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that big, that thick, and eventually I had that put in. But again, long story short, I was adamant, because I was adamant that they gave me a 2% chance that it wasn't ARVC. So I was like, right, being a sportsman and loving a challenge, I was like, right, I don't have this. I'm going to be okay. And so I thought, I'm not having this operation done until I know 100% that it is what you say it is. So they wouldn't let me out unless I had some sort of defibrillator on me. So for 6 weeks, I was walking around with a vest that's strapped around me. All the battery packs were around me here. And I had a big, like 5 kg box strapped over my shoulder and by my side. If anything went wrong, it would shock me back into life. And that was the only way I was leaving hospital. It had wires everywhere. And I had to wear this 24 hours a day for, 6 weeks. And the only time I could take it off was in the shower. So I'd be like, when I got in the shower, my wife, my girlfriend at the time was like, you're not getting in that shower. And if you are, you're out straight away. Just because she was so scared.
Hour-long shower.
And so I had to sleep in it. That was tough, but it was what I needed. And then, quickly, 6 weeks later, I had the operation, major heart surgery, where they implanted this defibrillator, which is inside me now, which restarts your heart if anything goes wrong. And it's gone off twice, which is.
I was going to ask about that, because you talk about it in your book as well. Like the first one is, well, you're giving a speech. And it goes off there like very soon after all this happened, pretty much. And the other one was in a swimming pool. Is there, I know it sounds a stupid question, but do you feel it that much in terms of, like, because it's so close to you, do you feel however many 100 or 1,000 volts, whatever it is, shooting through you?
Yeah, that is, it's just, that's the thing in my life. It's a constant fear. And I was a pretty tough guy, I thought, and deemed myself to be pretty tough and brave and didn't get scared that much. And I was invincible. As a sportsman, you're invincible. When nothing bad's happened to you, you're invincible. And when you know you're not invincible, that is a horrible moment. And it hits you like that. But with my defibrillator, I was doing a speech up on stage, and my heart rate was already pretty high because I was stressed. I had a long day and I was running late. So I kind of got to the thing as quickly as I can to do the speech. My heart rate was already raised, and then it got anxiety levels. You're doing a speech, so they rise a little bit, and it never stopped. So my heart rate never stopped, and it went up to over 300 beats per minute until the defib tries to pace you out. It tries to pace your heart out of the rhythm that it's in until it can't. And I can remember speaking. I was up on stage with somebody, and they can remember underneath my eye, my cheek just like pulsing here really badly. And obviously I knew nothing of it. And then before you know anything, you've gone poof, and it literally kicks you back into life, or it kicks you out of that rhythm. And I got shot back I'm going to say I probably got shot back the width of your arm span. And it's that powerful. It's effectively like being hit by Anthony Joshua, I imagine, and sticking your hands. Not that I'd ever want, I effectively. To me. But so being hit is the only way I can, or being shot. I've never been shot, but I can imagine what it's like. Something just goes straight through you. So being hit by Anthony Joshua and putting your hands in the main electrics. So and poof, and then it's amazing. After it happened, I can remember it being like, oh my God, that was unbelievable. Obviously not in a good way, but like, what has happened? I can't believe that's just happened. And obviously I had a mic, so the sound of this thing was in the mic, like through the room, and you would have heard it if you were, I reckon, 100 yards away because of the mic. And it's hard to explain, but obviously it's painful. But the fact that it's restarted your heart, and I could speak straight away. Usually it knocks people out, but or you lose consciousness for a little bit. But I spoke straight away, and I made a joke because I was talking about my defib when it went off, and I said, well, if you want to know what a defib looks like going off, you've just seen it. And like I got a couple of laughs, and I was like, I'm sorry, I've got to go. So I just walked out. And this is 3 weeks. This is 3 weeks after my operation that I was adamant I didn't want. And I'm amazed from a number of things. One, what it was, the sensation it was like, but also that because it's a fresh wound, my scar here was still pretty fresh, that it didn't like bust it open completely.
Yeah. And in terms of doing it like that soon afterwards, because I would have thought after 3 weeks of major surgery, as you said, like you'd had a full day. What was it doing press or something like that? Then in London, then trekking all the way to do this speech. In hindsight, was that too much too soon, or was it just a case of trying to stay relevant with everything else?
No, that's spot on. Exactly. Trying to stay current, trying to make some money. Ultimately, I've been a professional cricketer where you're making a great international cricketer, you're making a great earning. To having the rug pulled from beneath your feet, you've got no earning now. You've got no money coming in. You don't know where your life is. I'm trying to forge a career for myself in the media, doing speeches, Q&As, getting myself out there because I'm still current. The story was quite big in the press, so I needed to make the most of it, and people wanted to hear my story, so I was getting myself out there. But ultimately, I needed to make a bit of money, so I got myself out there. My agent got me out there. It was brilliant, and we thought, yeah, we can manage this. We've got to be careful, but we can manage it. Basically, to earn a little bit of money, and it was too much at the time, and also things that you learn. Like I was adamant with my doctor. I didn't want to be on too high a dosage of medication. Because my heart rate was so low anyway, if I went on beta blockers that took my heart rate even lower, it could be too low. So I was like, no, I'll be fine on this. I was trying to push for the lower dosage because I didn't think I was that ill. And then little did I know I was really bad. I didn't realize how bad my heart was. So yeah, it was a combination of me trying to earn a living, doing too much, and a couple of other things as well.
So since then, I guess that you have to limit how high your heart rate gets, and that includes any kind of stressful environment or if you get too much into watching a TV program or sport. Is that right?
Oh God, it's like you don't imagine. I hope you see me here and you think, oh, it looks all right. And from the outside, it's great. I hope. But it's bizarre the feelings that you have. I feel it. If I wanted to, I feel it every single second of every day. I can't lie on my left side because I feel my heart. I'm just super sensitive to everything. Too much chili, it will get me. My heart goes mental, starts doing somersaults in my chest. Too much chocolate, alcohol I can't drink too much of, like things like crossing the road. I always think twice before like making a quick movement because obviously that raises your heart rate. Nerves, I do everything to avoid getting nervous. Obviously exercise is a no-no to a certain extent. So everything I do, you always question.
So in terms of like trying to bring us not back around, but involving the cricket element to it as well. England won the one-day World Cup last year for the first time ever in to me, the most nail-biting thing I've ever seen in my life. I was making dinner at the time, and it took me the best part of 45 minutes just to boil some pasta, because I kept going in, watching it. Oh, it's not over yet. It's back on. It's not. It is. And they won it literally with the final. Like, you're talking a yard or two from losing the World Cup to winning the World Cup. How was that to you? Also having the personal investment in the guys playing.
Oh, it was. I mean, that's a 4-year process to get to that. The difference between winning and losing being about that far. Is a 4-year process. I started that process as a player, and then I finished winning the World Cup as a selector. So I've been a big part of it, albeit behind the scenes, especially as a selector. It's all the players. You obviously select them, but the players go out there and do your thing, and they did a magnificent job, and they performed so well throughout those 4 years to get to that place, and they earned the right to be in that place, but to win. And I was cool. I thought, I'm doing great here. I'm so cool considering we're in the World Cup. I was more intrigued to see how the players were going to perform under that pressure. I'm like, I'm cool here. And then it got down to that super over. So the last final dying embers of the game. And I was like, oh God, my heart was going mental. So I actually had to walk out. I do it discreetly, because if I raise attention, it's bad for everybody else. That raises it in. It's like if you're trying not to sweat, you're wearing a nice suit and you're trying not to sweat, you think, oh, I'm getting hot here. And then you get hotter and hotter the more you think about it. It's a bit like that with your heart. The more you think about, oh, my heart, I can feel it. Oh, my heart. And then it just starts raising because you get more anxious. It's a bit like that. So I had to disappear out the back quickly. That was the World Cup. I mean, what a moment. But yeah, that gets me, those nerves. And it's just being anxious, your adrenaline's like bad for your heart, obviously. But the other time it's happened, major events, I'm Anthony Joshua's biggest fan. I love him. And his fight versus Klitschko, one of the best fights ever. Brilliant. And when he knocked him down, I think for the second time, I was so excited and the adrenaline was flying everywhere. I was like, oh, I had to just quickly just shuffle out. I was in a bar that was packed to the rafters. And when he knocked him down, it should be like, oh, I had to just walk out because the adrenaline was flying everywhere. I was so excited just to calm myself down. And my wife is great. She's like my psychologist and nurse and everything that just calms me down because she knows me. It's so important to have those people that know you so well that you can speak to and offload things on. But she can just look at me and tell what's going on. And she knew my heart was going mental in my chest. So I went outside and calmed down. But these moments, it's everything in your life, like so many times daily, that you realize where your heart's at and how fragile my body is. From being a professional athlete, and all you did was hammer your body, hammer yourself physically, and I loved it. I loved challenging myself physically. And then mentally, you obviously have your insecurities, but physically, I was as strong as anything, fit as anything. And then your new body happens, this big event happens, and your body is so fragile, and it just knocks you for six. And it takes you a while to get used to the new normal. Your world's been flipped upside down, quite literally. So now mentally I'm really tough, but physically I'm nothing compared to how I was. So it's just getting used to the new normal, I call it. And I'm getting there. I've got a great life, so I can't complain. But it takes a little bit of adjusting to.
I know that you said that with the condition you're not able to do exercise, like especially like what you used to and all that kind of stuff. You still look very in shape and not someone who has got the condition that you have. How is that mainly eating, or is that are you still able to go for like walks and that kind of stuff?
So obviously I mean, I would love to say I eat really well. But usually I eat absolute rubbish. With the job I do, I'm obviously an England selector, so I travel around the country watching a lot of cricket. I'm always in my car on the motorway, so stopping off at service stations and eating not very good food.
Value meals from like M&S and places like that.
Well, that is pretty healthy.
On a good day, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on McDonald's, KFC. But yeah, so usually I eat really poorly and I'm sat down watching, driving, so I'm not doing much exercise. other than playing golf. That's why golf is so good for me, because I can walk around the course. But so usually I'm eating terribly. 2 meals a day. I'm out every day, every single day of the week. I'm out eating 2 meals in a restaurant or fast food or something like that. But that's why lockdown has been so good. So because my wife's a really good cook, she cooks all our meals for us. I've done more exercise, walking, a little bit of a bike ride than I've ever done. I'm eating better than I've ever eaten, and I feel really trim. I've lost a little bit of weight and feel really good. I think it's because my metabolism is really good from being a sportsman. I've kept that up. And there was one of the things my wife said, because as a sportsman, I ate so much. I love going to the gym. You need to fuel yourself. And she said, don't stop eating. Keep eating to keep your metabolism up. And I'm very lucky that my metabolism's obviously still doing a good job. I'm just waiting for this like rubber ring around my waist just to get a little bit bigger.
In terms of like the with the England selectors role you've got now, is that a, 'cause obviously like you are not the stereotypical select cricket team selector, or I suppose any sports selector, be that what still includes quite an old-fashioned mentality of it, whereas opposed to normally, like in a lot of sports, it's the head coach chooses everything. So like, I suppose like a stereotypical view of an England selector to me is a load of old men with long white beards sitting in the long room at Lord's, looking through a broad street paper, going, "Oh yeah, he played well that week. Maybe we'll get him." As opposed to, as you say, what it is, where it's a lot more scientific and a lot more meticulous involved with it. Is that giving you like a new, not a new lease of life, but a new involvement and love of the game, having that role with it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, when this happened, I thought I only want to do things that, one, I love, I enjoy, but two, I'm good at and I can add value to. And cricket is obviously a game that I was good at, but I know really well. And I feel that to stay in cricket, I can add value in what I do with my knowledge that I've got. And when I was in my hospital bed, it's like I said, when your world's over and you can't do anything that you used to do, it's thinking forward, like not what I can't, but what I can do now. And that's what I thought. I was in my hospital bed and I was like, what can I do now? Me and my wife, and I was like, I want to be a selector. And selectors, like you said, usually stereotypically 50-year-old, probably a little bit older than that, a lot of them. And I am not the stereotypical selector. I was the youngest selector by 20, 30 years. Amazing that it happened after I was in hospital, 18, saying, "Oh, I want to be a selector. Can I do that? Oh, it's probably not possible, but let's try." It's not like you can audition for it. You're only a selector if people want you to be a selector. Obviously, you've got to go through the interview process and stuff, but you're only in that process if people want you, which is unusual at my age. So I got asked whether I wanted to apply, so I applied and got through the process and got the job. But it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Obviously, the youngest ever selector in world cricket, and it's brilliant working with amazing people. A guy called Ed Smith. Played for England, captain Middlesex, author of a number of books, incredibly intelligent and knowledgeable guy, lovely guy, very knowledgeable. Played for England, captain England, wrote for the Times, great guy to work with. So he's head selector. Then you've also got Chris Silverwoods, who's head coach, who's a top man as well. So I'm in a great circle of people to work with. And you've got Mo Bobat, who is performance director, and David Court, who's talent ID. So we've got a number of us all working together, which and a number of scouts, up to 20 scouts underneath us, that all filter information to us, which allows us to make better informed decisions. And I love it, absolutely love it. It's after being a professional cricketer, it's about you as a player and your performance. But what I love is feeding in to a massive bubble, a massive team. And it's not about me, it's not about Ed, it's about making the ship move forward and being as good as it can be. And I love being part of that.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, also using your own experiences with dealing with selectors and dealing with, I wouldn't say rejection, but being almost like overlooked, but not just being told straight. in another way, like someone saying to you, "I know your form's not right," or "Oh, we don't think this player would suit you playing against them," as opposed to maybe just be saying, "Look, we're going with this guy for the time being, but keep up the good work." Is that obviously something that you can bring into, or do you not have that involvement with the player at a direct level?
Yeah, I do. I have the direct communication with the players, and I think that's so important. I think in any walks of life, whether it's business, sport, or other walks of life, like communication is number one for me. Else, how is that individual going to get better, or going to get more confident if you're not speaking to them, giving them correct information? And honest feedback is so important.
Yeah.
And obviously, I am so current. These were peers of mine at some stage. I played with these guys, but the fact I had 18 months to 2 years out of the game in the media allowed me to have that distance from being a player and playing with these guys and being in the dressing room with these guys. It allows me to step into this role a little bit more easy. But it's great for communication, because I don't think never before have selectors and players had as good a communication, because players feel they can pick up the phone to me if they've got any questions, and that's so important, so they understand where they're at, what they need to do to get better, and where we view them as a player, I think is so important.
Yeah,
Definitely. I think when you went from the field to the commentary box, I think what was great when you did that was you weren't, obviously you were commenting on your friends essentially, but you weren't shying away if someone was doing something wrong in the middle or in their fielding. You didn't shy away of what that was, and it wasn't unjustified criticism either. It was, hopefully they could look at that as a way to, you only really learn properly from your mistakes, don't you? So I think that was rewarding, whereas sometimes you could, not necessarily anymore, but you see some commentators in all sports seem to be hammering certain players all the time for niggly things, which is quite refreshing to see that obviously you knew this guy didn't have an agenda of that regard. So it was nice to actually see someone playing who's literally could still be playing, talking on skills to be learned.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I loved it. What a job. Commentating with Test Match Special and on Sky, Channel 5 was brilliant. Good fun. And like you say, commentating on my mates, my peers that I played with. But it's about being honest with your opinion, number one, but also getting the audiences to understand why they might have made that mistake, or why they chose to make that decision, albeit it might be the right decision or the wrong decision. Or it might not have worked out, but getting the audience and the viewers to understand why they've made that mistake. Yeah, you can say that was terrible, but this is the thinking behind why they might have done it. So it's getting the audience to understand a little bit more, giving that insight, and I loved it, because it's, like I said, it's the one thing I do know, and I know it pretty well. So why not share my knowledge and thoughts about what's just gone on? It was brilliant fun. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I think one of our, just in terms of even just listening to Test Match Special, which is for those listening outside of England and I suppose most cricketing nations as well, Test Match Special is a commentary program on Test cricket, and it is just one of those things where you can, to me, it is summer. Either driving in the car and listening to the commentary of the Test cricket going. And my favourite interview that James and I ever did, apart from this one, of course, James, but where someone's actually asking us questions, was it's called A View from the Boundary. So in the lunchtime interview, in the lunchtime interval, should we say, James and I did the Test match at Lord's with Jonathan Agnew, and just sitting in the press box overlooking one of the most famous grounds in world sport, and just being able to talk cricket. Yes, we spoke a bit about the Potter films, but a lot about going to cricket, watching it with my grandmother, watching it with my granddad, and people like that. And it was just, there's just something so not innocent, but so nice and in my personal opinion anyway, there was no agenda to it. It's very much just a case of, this is what it is. It's a format that has worked for years. It's filling in the gaps. It's filling in the, you could be talking, you could be watching the game, and obviously it goes on for how many hours of a day, and they'll be commenting on, I don't know, like Blowers used to talk about the cranes in the distance, or a bird coming past the commentary box, or what's on the tea tray, what's on the the cakes in this press box. Stuff like that is just, to me, it's just a quintessentially English thing to listen to, and I love that type of thing. So I bet for you to actually be having a very a cool part in it and actually adding to it as well, and adding to the user experience must have given you great satisfaction.
So good, and it's something that you grow up listening to. BBC, obviously amazing test match special. It's so good, but the people, that's what makes it so enjoyable. It's the people that you work with, the people that you surround yourself with. And one, because I was new, I was a novice at it, I obviously had the knowledge of the game, but the way you get it out there is totally different. It's just something you've ever done before. And they're always trying to encourage you. They're always trying to make you better. And I love that. I love learning. And just great people, wonderful people to be around, that make it a lot easier and more enjoyable to do your job. So great fun.
Okay. And with just going back a tiny bit, so are you now, am I right in saying you're now ambassador for the British Heart Foundation?
Yes. So again, a brilliant charity, and something that it directly affects me. The more knowledge and the more research that's done through the British Heart Foundation will hopefully help me in the future as well. Not from a selfish point, it's an amazing charity and they save so many lives and have a great impact, positive impact on so many lives around the world. Not just in the UK, but it's all awesome organisation. Again, great people that are in charge, and it's nice to be a part, just doing a little bit to help and spreading awareness. But it directly affects me because the more research that's done, maybe in the future, what's in my chest, because I have to have a major heart surgery every 7 to 10 years to replace what's in my chest because the batteries need changing. I mean, the more research that's done, hopefully in a few years, those batteries might be a little bit smaller or they might last a little bit longer. So things like that people don't think about. You think, oh, you're just giving a little bit of money to help a good cause, but they don't think about the direct impacts they have on individual lives. And it's a great charity, lovely people again, that have a real positive impact on so many people's lives. So it's good to be a part of it.
Great.
And I'm involved in another charity, well, a few charities. Encore's Foundation, which is a brilliant charity, helping lots of people get back to life through golf. So a lot of servicemen are involved, and they are so inspirational. These people, they've had their lives turned upside down through a number of different things, whether it be mental things or physical things, but they get their life back on track through golf. And that's very similar to me. I've got my life back on track through golf and a number of other things, but Encore's Foundation, but Chance to Shine as well in cricket is a brilliant charity that go into schools and help teach kids a number of different things, and help the kids learn a number of things through cricket, like gaining confidence, making friends, even just learning simple math skills through cricket. Is a brilliant charity. Because I learned so much through cricket, and that's helped me. I brought all those skills that I learned in cricket, whether it be learning to deal with people, obviously the skills in cricket itself, but mostly dealing with people and understanding myself better through cricket. And it's transferring those skills or giving a little bit of that insight to the kids at school and helping them learn so much through cricket.
Yeah, especially I suppose when like the fundamental values of the game, as it were, the spirit of cricket. So if anyone's listening and wondering where the term "it's just not cricket" comes from, basically that, isn't it? It means playing hard but playing fair, which I think a lot of people can associate with, even if they don't play the game, can associate that with anyone. Like I always think that, well, give me your honest answer and I'll respect you, but lie to me once and you might as well lie to me forever, because I'm not going to take a word in. Which is, I suppose, is that a type of values as well they try and bring into it? Maybe not as aggressive as that, maybe. It's a bit deep, but it's true. It's true.
To 6-year-old children.
Yeah. Don't lie to me. Yeah.
Maybe we should do it. No, it is great. And also I do talks on adversity in these schools as well. Give them a little bit of insight into my story. But it's trying to get these kids, because they might be shy, non-academic kids that might not have any friends, but cricket is such a good team sport as well, and it's bringing them together with other children. And the amount of kids that I speak to at Chance to Shine when I go to these primary schools, like I say, cricket's changed their lives because they've gained more confidence through playing with other children. They've made friends, and also we do simple maths classes, but have a cricketing take on it, which is really nice. But seeing the smile on these kids' faces when we go into the schools, play cricket with them, do simple little games with them, it's really good to see. And we've had a massive impact on so many kids' lives, girls and boys. As many girls involved as there is boys, and it's really good fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I was going to say how cricket now, the women's game, I don't think has ever been stronger. And there seems to be more coverage on it. And it's actually really, the last, I quite enjoy the format they have for the Ashes over here with, is it like a couple of T20s, a one day and a test? So you get the whole, if you're just coming into cricket, it's a great way to learn all the different formats.
Yeah, and it all adds into the Ashes. Whereas in men's, the Ashes is just test matches. But the way the women's format's certainly been done in the past is, like say, T20s, ODIs, and test cricket added up. It all adds up to the Ashes. But women's sport in general, not just cricket, it's brilliant to see where it's going. The funding has improved. The awareness of it, it's really good to see, and hopefully that continues. And hopefully this the COVID pandemic hasn't put a halt to that, because obviously everybody's had a little bit of time out, and the world's changed slightly for a little bit, but hopefully that doesn't change anything. And women's sport is getting stronger and stronger, and that's great to see.
I know that you were always growing up, you're always setting yourself goals to do. What are they now? I can imagine one of them already begins with G, four-letter word, ends in F. But
yeah.
So what are your goals that you've set yourself right now?
It's a very good. I mean, you could have given me a heads up.
Sorry, I like to just throw people in.
He's got some more questions, but he hasn't given the heads up to as
well. So yeah, golf. I'll only give golf. I don't know. I'd love to get to scratch in golf. That's my one goal at the moment. Work-wise, I'm very fortunate enough to be involved with the people that I'm involved with, working for the ECB and being a selector. That is brilliant, and hopefully that continues. And golf, my goal, to get to scratch. I'm at 3 now, and
which is really, really annoying. Picking up the club 4 years ago, and now you're off 3.
So like golf is a complete game changer for me. It's changed my life, honestly, because it's the one thing I can do physically and I can challenge myself at. It gets me out of the house, I can walk, but technically and mentally it's a very similar game to cricket, so I can apply myself massively into that. I can learn a new sport. Like Ollie said, I'd never played it before. When I played cricket, I never played it. I was always one of those guys that was like, golf, that's for old men. And in hospital, the doctor said, oh, but you can play golf. And I was like, golf, I'm not playing golf. And then my wife encouraged me to play golf, and so I got into it. So I love it. And to those that are listening, me and Ollie, James, you need to get involved. You need to get yourself a simulator room built. Me and Ollie play every single night in lockdown. When it was full lockdown, every single night we'll be FaceTiming each other. The phone would be at the back of the room, and we'll be watching each other swing for hours. So I miss that, Ollie. We need to do that more.
It was good. I mean, we played the other day, but it's one that we need to try and get more into it, because again, it's one of those things with the lockdown situation is not being able to actually venture out, but at the same time you could just spend an hour and play a full 18 holes with a bit of back and forth. So it's definitely good fun.
So I've only got a couple more questions, if that's all right. First major one the last major one that I really want to ask is, from everything that you've gone through, and we talked about the key moments which kind of flagged up when you were 19 and things like that before, is there any advice that you would give to people now to look out for, or for this condition, or any other kind of heart condition that you could possibly shed light on?
It's a tough one. I think screening, different countries do it different ways. I think Italy is outstanding. They screen everybody at a certain age, I think, which has its pros and it has its cons, because it picks up things that might seem life-threatening but might not materialize into anything. So that might hamper you. You might be told you can never exercise again. In fact, you might be all right. But I think it's just having that awareness and not being afraid to talk. If you're worried about something, I think this goes into general life. This is a game changer for me. What saved me, like mentally, I should have been really struggling with what I went through. But through what I learned through cricket is being open and talking about things. If I'm battling something with my technique, speak to somebody rather bottling it up inside, because it's a tough enough game as it is. I took that into my new life when everything went downhill when I got ill. Rather than I'm battling enough physically with myself, I don't need to battle mentally. So talk about things, be open, and have people. It could be your wife, it could be your husband, it could be your friends, or it could be somebody else that you open up and talk to rather than bottling it up inside. It's a lot easier and a lot better for you if you talk about things. And that's the same with if you're worried about something, whether it's a heart condition, whether it's an illness, talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone to a doctor or somebody and just ask questions. It might be nothing, but equally it might be something a little bit more sinister. You're better off picking it up early than later. And that's all same with the heart conditions. If you're worried, you want more knowledge, just ask questions. That's all I say.
And then I've got 4 questions which I ask everybody, and every week
he says, I'm going to tell you in advance, and he never does it. So
I always forget. So, number 1 is, what is your favorite song?
My knowledge of music is terrible. So it'd be usually I just whack on the top 40 or Radio 1. But Love Generation. Do you know Bob Sinclair?
Yeah.
See, it's just a happy, easy song. And you have the kid on a bike. It's like his little BMX bike going around like America. I love that song.
It's also a tune as well that once you get like just the whistling part in your head, it stays in there all day.
So that is brilliant. There you
go. Your favorite film?
I love a war film. So Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Gruesome, gory, but I love a war film. So
do you find? I imagine then that you watch a lot of movies whilst on planes.
Yes,
like I do. But I don't know if you're the same as me, but I could not tell you if I've when I land, I could have watched 4 films on the plane. I could not tell you what those films were.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like me. I've got the worst memory in the world. This is what I was going to ask you guys, and I respect people more when they do things I can't do. And what you guys do and your acting careers and stuff, I would just forget the lines all the time, and I would be so bad at that. So I was going to ask you, how do you prepare for scenes, like learning lines? Is it just repetition?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same.
Exactly like your fielding, like you were saying, or your batting. It's just reps over and over. I essentially do now what I should have done for my A-levels, and lock myself in a room and I don't leave until I've learned what I need to learn.
That's great.
Also as well, a mental gymnastics trick is that you're more likely to retain information just before you sleep than you are just when you wake up.
So that's what I've heard that one before, but whether it was a fact or not,
I used it when I was doing it. I was doing a play and I had to learn this whole script, so I'd use it as an excuse to take naps in the middle of the day. But it worked though. It worked mostly. It worked anyway.
See, I always tried that, but I probably started too much before I needed to sleep. So I'd wake up with my script like lying on my face or something like that. Yeah, not remembering anything. Question 3: what's your favorite TV or film quote?
The one. What's it? Wedding Crashers. So Wedding Crashers, when I said that tour against Pakistan in Dubai, we were there for 3 months, and we actually acted out, 3 of us, you got put in groups of 3 and you had to act out a scene or something. So we acted out Wedding Crashers, and it was like, Ma, the meatloaf. Yeah. I never know what she's doing back there. Like that. So that was my quote. There you go.
Finally, what is your favorite food?
Favorite? See, where was this? Was this in the previous podcast? Was Tom Phelps that asked this question?
We did, but Tom's version of, I can't remember what he said now. Chocolate.
Did we cut it?
No, Tom's number 1 is something like chocolate, because Tom's diet is a lot like yours, to be honest with you.
Okay. So chocolate, I'm so bad for it. I love it. I'll go a few. So I love a full English. I love a full English, but not like everything, just like sausage, bacon, eggs, boom, simple. And so I love that. But I love sushi as well. That's the best thing about Dubai. The food in Dubai is just phenomenal. The sushi is amazing. So yeah, full English or a sushi. Yeah.
I take it those two options change if you're ever talking at like a British Heart Foundation meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Mine's not my heart condition. This is why I can say I eat absolute rubbish sometimes. Not anymore, because my wife is exceptional at cooking and it's been locked down, so we can't eat out. But mine, if you think about it like electrics and plumbing, mine's not plumbing, so it's not the structure. It's like the electric, the messages that go through that aren't ideal in my heart. So I can eat within reason.
Very good. I actually saw someone sent me this morning a video of this American lady who's, I don't know if she's
She's that right. She did another one as well. She's
do you
done
know what
two
I'm
now.
gonna?
It's awful.
So this
awful.
American lady decides to do this video of how to make a British cup of tea, right?
Oh, genius!
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it is like broke Twitter. Everybody's just appalled.
Oh God, I was so angry and laughing at the same time. Basically, you don't. If you've seen this thing, the lady puts a cup of water in the microwave, then adds about half a pint of milk to it, then dips the tea bag in, then with about 3 sugar bags of sugar.
Yeah,
Disgusting. And she's done another one as well for another type of tea as well. But no, people like that deserve not to have tea bags. It's just an absolute waste. Some poor soul has picked those tea leaves and that happens to it. Disgusting. It's like taking an absolute on everything what we hold in this country. She joins the list as well of liars with me.
Well, James, thank you so much for today, mate. I really enjoyed that.
No worries at all. I've absolutely loved it, and brilliant work with the podcast. Johanna Conter and Tom Felton are the last two that I watched. I'm obviously going to watch more and listen to more. It's brilliant. What you guys are doing, great fun, insightful, and it's nice to learn a little bit about other people. I love to listen to people at the top of their field. So keep up the good work, guys, and thanks for having me.
There you go. A huge thanks to James for joining us today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. I had such a good time listening to everything he was saying. And it was actually really interesting there was a lot of similarities. I remembered when I was reading his book, noting it as well, but also speaking to him, the similarities from a professional sports locker room and all that kind of stuff to an acting set and all that kind of stuff, where you listen and respect to what other people are doing, and if everyone goes about their own individual jobs, everything will go well on the day as well. So that was really interesting, and I hope also everybody enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, definitely. And also as well, when he was talking about fast learners, obviously, I suppose one of the good things in fast learning in terms of whatever environment you're in is to go into it not thinking you know everything about it and being open to listening, which I suppose is how we learn more than anything, isn't it? Is being not knowing that you've got all the answers, but just being open to it. And as he said, being a fast learner definitely helps with a lot of other things in the game and in retrospect, other parts of life as well.
Definitely. I mean, the part when I asked James about was he one of those people who sits back and watches the senior the players or asks some questions or whatever, that reminded me of when we first started on the Potters, how we had all these amazing actors to literally see doing their craft. It was literally a who's who of British talent. And I think that what was great with how lucky we were is that we were able to sit back and see how they portray themselves, not just on the camera, but behind the camera as well. When they're waiting, you never saw one of those well-known actors messing around essentially before they're about to film. So that was something which I always remember and I still take to this day. But also we were very lucky in that you could approach them as well. Probably not when you're filming, but when you're not filming, they were very approachable to spread knowledge. And if you wanted to ask a question, it was great to realize that's what goes on in sport as well. Don't always act like you've got the answers if you don't.
No, exactly. That's definitely a good thing for life and life in general as well, anyway, isn't it? But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for coming back and checking out our Double Trouble podcast.
Anyway, Guys, again, thank you so much for everything. All your support last week really meant the world to us. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, James's book is absolutely fantastic. It is available on Amazon Kindle. Great little read. And again, hearing his story after playing and going through really is amazing. And I know it's already saving lives in the work he's doing. So thank you again, James, for joining us. And guys, thank you very much too.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you again very, very soon. Oh, I need to say this before we go. Alexa, order proper British tea. And if your Alexa's just done that, thank you.
And play Double Trouble.
Yes, and play Double Trouble podcast. Guys, take care. Stay safe. We'll speak to you soon.